Welcome to the Iraqi Dinar Today latest news. The year 2025 is already etching itself into the history books for a remarkable and long anticipated event within the global foreign exchange markets. What we are witnessing today transcends the typical ebb and flow of currency trading. It is a profound, structural change that is captivating the attention of financial institutions worldwide. For years, communities of individuals holding the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong were often met with skepticism, told that their faith in these specific assets was misplaced, and that the long-promised financial movements would never materialize. The narrative of stagnation and doubt, however, is being dramatically challenged by actions taken deep within the banking system, which are now becoming undeniably visible to the world. This morning, the quiet whispers and unconfirmed reports of the past have coalesced into a loud, official declaration of intent. Major global banks, which have long maintained a cautious distance from large-scale, consistent exchanges of these two currencies, are now actively engaging with them. This isn't just a brief fluctuation on a trading screen. It involves deep-seated procedural updates within core banking systems and the Forex networks that link them. These institutions are not merely observing, they are updating, recognizing, and, crucially, activating formal, verifiable pathways for processing the dinar and the dong. The magnitude of this shift cannot be overstated. It marks a decisive move away from speculation and toward confirmed operational financial reality, generating an unprecedented wave of positive excitement among long-term holders. The initial evidence of this monumental shift began surfacing early today, as multiple interconnected banking platforms and digital verification services, the essential backbone of the global currency exchange, started displaying active processing signs for both the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. This was a pivotal moment primarily because, despite their legal recognition, neither currency has historically enjoyed clear, consistent, or large-scale exchange mechanisms across various global regions. Holders frequently struggled with a fragmented system. Banks often hesitated to accept high-denomination notes, exchange procedures were confusing, unofficial rates were inconsistent, and a fundamental lack of transparency fueled persistent community uncertainty. Yet today, that scenario is rapidly changing. Reports from the ground, filtering out from bank employees, confirm that internal memos are being circulated, providing detailed instructions to staff. These directives are focused on preparing for and executing authorized exchanges, specifically involving large denomination notes of both currencies. This is the clearest indication yet that the necessary operational infrastructure is being prepared, not for a hypothetical event, but for actual high-volume transactions. A bank revising its internal operating procedures represents a tangible, irreversible action, not mere speculation. And this internal preparedness is being mirrored externally by coordinated movements within the Forex channels. The simultaneous alignment of both the traditional banking systems and the advanced Forex networks sends a powerful, unified signal to the global financial market. This dual movement directly indicates a crucial increase in liquidity, the measure of how easily an asset can be converted to cash without affecting its market price. Increased liquidity signals imminent market movement, and movement, in turn, signals a critical opportunity for the holders of both the dinar and the dong. For those who have been observing and waiting for years, this coordinated, structural action by major financial players is the real-world confirmation of the long-awaited financial transition. This movement is particularly significant because, for well over 15 years, these two currencies have existed in a peculiar state of limbo. They were acknowledged on the international stage, yet they lacked the active, full support of many major, frontline banking institutions. While it was relatively simple for individuals to acquire the currencies, attempting to sell or exchange large amounts at an official, verifiable rate often proved to be an exercise in frustration. Bank policies were vague, commitment was absent, and confusion reigned supreme. The new updates now actively dismantle that frustrating landscape, providing a clear path forward where none existed before. Crucially, verified Forex channels are now showing a tangible, measurable increase in activity that is directly linked to the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. This suggests a paradigm shift. The global financial ecosystem is no longer treating these currencies as inactive or isolated national assets. They are instead being processed, tracked, and managed as legitimate, active players in the broader international marketplace. This shift in perception and functionality is vital, as it builds essential investor confidence, improves transparency across the board, and finally provides major banks with the security and verification they need to participate fully and without fear of unverified speculation or chaotic market entry. For authorized holders, this systemic shift opens a necessary and long-awaited door: the ability to move forward with their exchanges in a secure, calm, and highly confident manner, guided by official procedures rather than hearsay. All current indicators suggest that this visible movement is merely the beginning, likely representing the initial wave of a much larger, more comprehensive transformation. The coordination and speed of these operational changes imply a well-planned and highly structured rollout, reinforcing the view that this is a significant, fundamental change and not a temporary market anomaly or a reaction to a single external event. Focusing first on the Iraqi Dinar, the most aggressive operational movement is currently being reported in major global banking regions. The core of this activity revolves around the activation of tiered exchange programs. These specific programs are designed to empower banks to process large denomination dinar notes, including the significant 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, and even 50,000 notes through established, verified, and secure internal systems. This is a direct reversal of the past, where holders of these large notes were routinely turned away with excuses about verification barriers or lack of authorized clearance to handle such substantial sizes. Now, those historic barriers are actively being removed. Banks are receiving mandates to prepare for large-scale activity, which includes the calibration and updating of digital authentication tools and the extensive training of management and staff on the new, specific processing protocols. Most significantly, banks are laying the groundwork for the possibility of introducing contract rates. These special, non-public rates are structured specifically for authorized holders exchanging through official pathways, a clear signal of structured liquidity, meaning organized, controlled financial movement, not random, chaotic activity. When liquidity becomes structured, the entire process is inherently safer, smoother, and more predictable for every party involved, from the holder to the financial institution. The dinar community has endured a long period of uncertainty, waiting patiently for substantive proof of progress. Today's developments provide that proof not in the form of rumors or external forecasts, but as operational updates and procedural changes originating directly from within the secure, internal world of the global banking system, confirming a new era of official engagement. Turning our attention to the Vietnamese Dong, this currency has long been noted by various financial analysts as potentially one of the world's most undervalued currencies, with predictions that its strength would grow in parallel with Vietnam's economic infrastructure stabilization. While steady progress has been noted over time, the Dong previously faced persistent limitations within critical international exchange channels. This constraint, however, is now dissolving rapidly. The latest reports indicate that the Dong is experiencing a new wave of movement within the same verified Forex systems that are processing the dinar. This parallel movement means that bank portals, exchange platforms, and currency verification networks are starting to track, display, and process Dong transactions in a comprehensive way that marks a significant departure from previous, sporadic activity. A larger, Denomination notes are also being prioritized in these new procedures, and banks are receiving specific instructions on how to manage and address early exchange requests. This development is momentous because the dong has often been treated as a secondary player in these high-level currency discussions. The fact that the dong is now moving in tandem with the dinar is being labeled by analysts as a dual currency wave. When two currencies achieve this level of increased global recognition simultaneously, they generate a powerful amplification effect. This tandem recognition naturally increases combined liquidity, elevates overall visibility within the financial world, and consequently drives up demand from international market participants. For holders of the dong, this coordinated activity represents the culmination of years of patient belief and represents a unique opportunity that many have been anticipating for a very long time. Given this intense, coordinated movement, the question on every holder's mind is practical and immediate. What are the necessary steps to prepare for this shift? The absolute first step must be a meticulous verification of all holdings. Any individual possessing dinar or dong notes must now ensure that every note is confirmed as authentic, is clean, and is stored securely. Banks and authorized exchange centers have strict policies against accepting damaged or heavily marked notes. So organizing and preparing the currency now will save considerable time and potential rejection later in the process. The second critical step involves grouping the notes logically by denomination. This is a functional requirement as banking systems are designed to process large note, such as the 25, 0, 00, and 50, 0, 00 dinar note, using different, often more rigorous procedures than smaller ones. Third, it is absolutely vital to commit to only following official, authorized exchange channels. As major currencies begin to move, there is a predictable surge of unofficial brokers and unverified platforms attempting to take advantage of confused holders. This must be avoided entirely by working exclusively with authorized banks or legitimate, confirmed exchange programs. Fourth, holders must gather all necessary documentation in advance. This comprehensive package should include government-issued identification, verifiable proof of purchase for the currency, and, if at all possible, detailed serial number records. A high level of organization on the holder's part directly contributes to a smoother, faster, and more efficient exchange process. Finally, it is paramount to stay informed through verified sources, as rates, processing schedules, and specific procedures are likely to evolve rapidly as this complex financial transition continues to unfold. Official bank insiders are confirming that a multitude of financial institutions have already received comprehensive briefings on how to manage these forthcoming exchanges. This indicates a state of preparation, not reaction. Key digital systems are being brought up to date. Currency verification machinery is undergoing detailed calibration. Exchange limits are being pre-programmed, and managers are being trained to process large transactions with maximum efficiency and minimal delay. This confirms the long-awaited evidence. Banks are actively preparing for the exchanges rather than attempting to avoid them entirely. A particularly noteworthy detail emerging from these internal briefings is the structured plan for implementing contracted rates. These are specialized, non-public rates that will only be available through authorized channels for verified holders during the initial exchange window. Their purpose is threefold: to provide a critical layer of protection for holders against sudden, volatile market fluctuations, to introduce essential stability during the sensitive early stages of activity, and to help banks manage liquidity by minimizing chaotic fluctuations. This level of structured financial organization typically signals the beginning of major, organized financial movement. When the moment arrives for an individual to execute an exchange at the bank, the process is designed to be structured and secure. Initially, all notes will undergo rigorous authenticity checks. Banks are equipped with official databases and sophisticated verification tools to confirm the legitimacy of every single note, examining the print quality, ink consistency, texture, and the unique security features embedded within the currency. Following this, standard procedure requires the presentation of government-issued identification and often proof of ownership or purchase records for the currency being exchanged, especially for large amounts. After the initial checks, the notes may be held for a short processing period, typically lasting a few business days. This is a normal, standardized part of the process, allowing the bank time to complete all necessary verification steps and finalize the applicable exchange rate. Once the comprehensive verification is complete, the confirmed exchange rate at the time of processing is applied, and the funds are transferred securely to the holder's account. This structured and transparent process is designed to ensure that every transaction is legitimate, accurately valued, and fully protected under banking regulations, mitigating the potential for stress or complications for prepared holders. Establishing a clear exchange timeline is crucial for every holder. Step 1 involves proactively contacting authorized banks to confirm their current participation status in the new exchange programs, as not all institutions will be ready on the initial day. Step 2 requires scheduling an exchange appointment. For high-value transactions involving large notes like the 50,000 dinar or significant dong amounts, banks are likely to require scheduled times to properly manage the required verification and processing time. Step 3 is the verification process itself, which may involve temporarily placing the notes in the bank's custody for the necessary authentication, a process that can take a few business days. Step 4 is the final and most anticipated stage, receiving the funds once all verification is complete and the correct exchange rates have been applied. While some holders express concern about leaving their notes with the bank, this is a standard, essential practice for large foreign currency exchanges, ensuring that every part of the process is fully documented and legally protected. This multi-step risk reduction timeline is intentionally built to eliminate fraud, ensure accuracy, and provide the utmost security. A prepared holder who follows the official instructions can expect a smooth start to finish exchange experience. Security is perhaps the most paramount concern in this entire process. Banks are implementing advanced precautions to protect both their operations and the holders themselves. Every single note entering the official system is meticulously tracked and recorded, and every transaction is thoroughly documented and processed through secure, monitored digital pathways. This elevated level of financial oversight is specifically designed to prevent the introduction of counterfeit notes, block unauthorized exchanges, and immediately identify fraudulent activity, ensuring that the rate received is legitimate and the transaction is legally protected. For long-term holders who have been wary of scams, underpayment, or manipulation by unverified brokers over the years, these new official updates dramatically reduce those risks. The mandatory verification process ensures authenticity. Meticulous documentation ensures full traceability, and the exclusive use of official channels guarantees fairness and adherence to banking law. This updated system provides the clear, secure pathway that has been missing for so long, and its structured, transparent nature effectively restores financial control to the hands of the authorized, patient holders. These critical changes are not confined to a single country or region. They are fundamentally global in scope. When numerous banks across multiple international regions begin to simultaneously update their internal procedures for specific currencies, it is an undeniable indicator of international coordination and synchronized intent. This is precisely what is happening now, with global liquidity indicators confirming increased, coordinated activity for both the dinar and the dong. market analysts are paying closer attention to these two currencies than they have in years. The synchronized movement is unmistakable. Forex networks are adjusting their rate displays, and international holders are reporting identical procedural updates from their respective banks around the world. This level of synchronized global action seldom occurs without a massive, deliberate coordination effort taking place behind the scenes. When currencies gain this level of consistent, synchronized global visibility, their value stability improves, their liquidity increases significantly, and their international demand naturally rises. For all holders, this coordinated international recognition is excellent news. Increased global recognition directly leads to smoother exchange processes, higher liquidity translates into faster processing times, and strengthened demand sets the stage for potentially better long-term prospects. This is not simply a local regulatory shift. It is part of a global, coordinated movement that is actively reshaping how the international financial community views and interacts with both the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. The holder community itself is now more active and engaged than at any point in recent history. Online groups are alight with a focused buzz of updates sharing organizational tips and early personal reports from initial bank inquiries. Forums across the world are intensely discussing the procedures and what to expect next. This high level of focused community activity strongly suggests a shared sense of genuine momentum, the very momentum that is being validated by the actions of the banking system itself. It is rare for communities to activate at this magnitude unless a real, verifiable financial change is imminent. Holders are meticulously gathering documentation, taking comprehensive inventory of their currency notes, and proactively preparing for the formal exchange process ahead. This level of focused anticipation is a clear sign that a major financial change is not just speculated, but expected. Furthermore, unlike the past where confusion and misinformation were rampant, today's updates are marked by clarity, structure, and consistency, driven by tangible changes in the banking system, not by unverified internet whispers. This foundational difference changes the entire atmosphere of the transition. A look at common holder questions offers further insight into the organized nature of this shift. While smaller notes can generally be exchanged, banks will likely prioritize larger denominations initially to manage volume. Walking in without an appointment is strongly discouraged, as large exchanges require scheduled time for proper verification. Processing time is generally estimated at a few business days, depending on current demand. And critically, authorized holders may be offered contracted rates to provide stability against market fluctuations, with the rate typically locked in at the moment the notes are submitted for processing, protecting the holder against sudden market swings. As the initial process rolls out, we anticipate a natural expansion of bank participation. Major currency transitions generally roll out in a phased, staggered approach. First, larger, global banks activate their sophisticated internal procedures. Then, regional banks align their systems. And finally, smaller, local community banks begin to offer the same services. This carefully managed, staggered rollout is a strategic move to meticulously control liquidity, manage the enormous demands of note verification, and prevent the system from being overwhelmed by a sudden, chaotic surge. Because the dinar and dong are moving together in this orchestrated wave, the importance of this phased, coordinated rollout is even greater, helping to stabilize the market and ensure that every processed note is legitimate. This methodical expansion creates a steady, organized flow, contrasting sharply with the volatility that could result from an uncontrolled, rapid exchange. Holders who prepare diligently now and stay focused on verified information will find themselves in the best possible position to benefit as the network of participating banks continues to grow. Looking beyond the immediate exchange window, the foundation being laid now is for increased global integration of both currencies. The improved visibility, deep liquidity, and official recognition happening today will lead to broader international adoption. As more banks participate, more regions will naturally adjust their core Forex systems to seamlessly accommodate both the Dinar and the Dong. This global alignment will result in smoother international transactions, stronger, more consistent market confidence, and a more robust global demand for both currencies. For long-term holders who maintained faith in the fundamental economic potential of these currencies, they are now approaching the moment they have anticipated for years. Simultaneously, new mainstream investors may begin to pay serious attention as the market officially evolves away from speculation toward structural reality. The next few weeks are critical, likely bringing further definitive updates, potentially shifting exchange rates and expanded access, confirming that this is only the beginning of a profound multi-stage financial transformation. In terms of practical, immediate preparation, the focus must be on order and detail. Begin by organizing your notes into a clean, protective folder or envelope, separating them meticulously by denomination. Ensure the notes are flat, wrinkle-free, and stored securely. Next, create a simple, comprehensive record of your holdings, listing denominations, quantities, and, ideally, any available serial numbers. This record not only aids in personal organization, but also provides a vital backup reference during the formal exchange process. Third, gather all necessary personal documents, including your official government-issued ID, passport, and any proof of purchase or source of funds documentation that may support your exchange. Banks appreciate the efficiency of an organized holder, as it significantly speeds up the verification process. Fourth, be sure to set aside ample, unhurried time for your exchange appointment. A calm, methodical approach ensures that every instruction is followed correctly. Finally, resist the urge to follow speculation. Stick exclusively to verified, official updates from your bank or confirmed announcements from Forex-linked systems. A major factor driving the immense confidence in today's news is the verifiable alignment between Forex systems and banking networks. This synchronized movement across both critical sectors is a near, unmistakable indication of official, coordinated planning. Forex networks are adjusting activity indicators, banking protocols are being formally updated, and financial monitoring systems are tracking currency movement with greater intensity. This level of unified synchronization does not happen by accident. It signals that something fundamentally significant is now fully underway. Many financial experts believe this deep alignment is part of a wider, global effort to modernize currency handling and dramatically improve digital tracking capabilities worldwide. Given the large and dedicated community of Dinar and Dong holders, it is logical that they would be among the earliest and most significant beneficiaries of these institutional upgrades. This coordinated movement also suggests a future integration with advanced digital currency systems and international settlement platforms, reflecting the increasing financial interconnectedness of the modern world. For holders, this unprecedented level of official, synchronized upgrade translates directly into increased security, faster processing, and improved transparency. Simply put, the global financial system is finally implementing the necessary infrastructure that holders have required for many years. While the excitement is immense and justified, it is critically important to maintain a sense of patience and grounded realism. Major currency transitions are complex, multi-stage events, and early movement often involves varying speeds of activation across different institutions. Some banks may be fully ready immediately, while others will require more time to fully implement their new systems. Exchange rates may show minor fluctuations as initial liquidity is built, and processing times may vary based on the sheer volume of demand. Patience, however, is a non-negotiable asset. Rushing into unverified or unofficial exchanges is a high-risk, completely unnecessary move now that the official, organized process is becoming more structured and accessible with each passing day. Holders who remain patient, disciplined, and focused on verified information will be in the strongest position to benefit. It is vital to remember that we are observing the earliest stages of what is a much larger, global financial wave. The complete transformation will unfold over a measured period, but every single procedural step being taken right now is fundamentally preparing the global financial infrastructure for the events that are scheduled to follow. Many experienced voices and analysts within the community are united in their guidance. Prioritize authenticity checks, ensure proper documentation, and strictly avoid unofficial brokers. With the banking system moving toward these structured processes, this advice is now more critical than ever. The next clear phase of this process will likely involve the expanded access for smaller denominations, increased participation from a wider network of regional banks, and more public, transparent displays of rates. As initial liquidity is firmly established, public exchange rates will stabilize and more accurately reflect the heightened official activity. The initial, meticulous focus on large, denomination notes is a necessary strategy to efficiently manage the volume and ensure accuracy. And once that critical phase is secure, the exchange of smaller notes will move far more freely. This planned two-stage process is a time-tested method used in other successful currency transitions globally, providing essential structure for both the financial institutions and the holders. The overarching benefit is a guarantee that every single note is processed securely, accurately, and with absolute consistency. Holders who have waited years should now feel confident that the global system is finally, officially preparing for their participation. The necessary foundation is being laid, the gates are opening, and each day brings new, verifiable signs of concrete progress. As we advance deeper into 2025, we can reliably anticipate more official communications, wider bank participation, and more visible changes across the global Forex landscape. The recognition that is visibly happening now is entirely intentional. Banks do not overhaul their sophisticated systems without a proven cause. Forex channels do not activate dormant currency pathways without high-level coordination. And global financial platforms do not begin tracking previously inactive currencies unless a confirmed, structural movement is already underway. These changes collectively reflect a profound shift in the underlying financial infrastructure. Currencies that were previously overlooked are now receiving necessary, formal attention, and holders who firmly believed in the long-term potential of the dinar and the dong may soon realize the results of their extraordinary patience. This moment represents a rare, once-in-a-generation financial event, and it is actively unfolding before our eyes. The combination of banks preparing, Forex systems activating, holders organizing, and global liquidity shifting is a powerful dynamic that signals the beginning of a major, undeniable transformation. The steps you choose to take right now, staying organized, following official channels, avoiding unnecessary risk, and maintaining patience, will fundamentally shape the outcome of your personal exchange experience. You are now closer than ever before. This is a crucial turning point, a moment where the global financial system is formally acknowledging two currencies that have been significantly undervalued for years. As this recognition continues to grow and solidify, the opportunities for holders who prepared wisely will also increase exponentially. The waiting, for so many within the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong communities, is finally and definitively coming to an end. The global system is visibly shifting. Banks are demonstrating a clear state of readiness. Forex networks are active and confirming movement. And global finance is reacting to this coordinated change. The developments over the coming weeks could prove to be historic. The movement is real, it is verifiable, and it is happening now, fundamentally changing the landscape for currency holders worldwide.